The following interviews have been carried out as part of a research project into Icelandic and Nordic craft practitioners and how they can influence the development of a new industrially made product for export from Iceland. The focus within the questions is to open a discussion to consider what elements of the craft practitioner's practice are mimicked or utilised by industry, what elements are not, what elements could be, and what elements of their work could be utilised to develop a new export from Iceland.
My name is Thomas Hawson. I lived all my life in the Faroe Islands, born in one of the very small villages during the Second World War. Now I live and work in Tórshavn, but we have a house in a farming village called Bøur on Vår, the western island of the Faroe Islands, where I have access to all the wool that I want. The main area of my craft now is felting. It has come down to that from a much broader view of working with wool. In the Faroe Islands in the 40s, Second World War was going on. We couldn't buy anything. So wool was everything to us. My mother, which is my main resource, she was born in Eldevik, and they were craft people and they made everything. She was very interested in all these things and wrote things down, and how it was to live in a village during the First World War, where they had no resources for clothing other than wool. And she has told me about their ways, and she says, we use the same methods as the Vikings did when they came here. How they wash the wool, how they separate it, how they mix it in order to get this and that quality. We always said the wool is the gold of the Faroe Islands. Then after the Second World War stopped, people were so tired of all these things, or the work and it sort of stopped, and the life changed from farming to fisheries, and earning money became relevant, and people stopped using the wool the way they had done. When we came to the 70s, it was on its way out. People started forgetting about how to work with wool at all. When we came to the 80s, the wool was an enormous problem. That's what inspired me to get started. Teaching people all the resources that I felt I had from old culture. Not very much, in fact, written down. I hated to see the resources going waste, and I was a teacher at the teacher training college in Tórshavn, and we were making, according to me, silly things, embroidering as they do in Denmark, and I thought, there's something wrong here. We burn, don't know what to do with our material, and we just buy everything. I got to introduce this into teacher training education, which I did. The material is the fairy sheep that came with the Vikings when they came to these islands, and this sheep race has developed according to nature here. It's a sort of spell sow sheep, it's called, and it is a very, very long coat hairs because they live out in the mountains throughout the year, and it has a very, very soft inner coat. So that is the material that I use. Then I mix it in different ways, separate the wool, separate the coarse hairs from the root, or I mix it all together according to what would you use it for clothes for children, for underwear, or for working clothes for fishing men. So my work has been really to experiment how we could really get use of our surplus material or wool. It could be fantastic for carpets and rugs because it's so strong. These long coat hairs can be up to 20 centimeters, very, very long, and when they go through, the material is very strong and very lustrous, beautiful. Historically, there is no background for felting fairies' wool. It always was knitted or woven first and then felted, according to the way they did in Norway and Iceland for the big sails that were used on ships, etc. It was always woven first and then trampled together.
Are there any characteristics you think industry overlooks?
That the fairies' wool has especially much fat because the sheep walk out all year and they have to have very concentrated fat in the wool in order to protect themselves. And that will not be true for sheep in other countries, for example, Australia. It has to do with the climate. The workspace is a good solid table and a roller and these felting mats. That's what I use. And if you start making bigger things, you have to expand. But many people can use their own kitchen as their workshop.
The place that you work, is it important if it's inside or outside? Or?
It's not good if it's cold. You can't work out because the felting process needs constant temperature. I know a woman from Scotland, Eva, and her only working space is her kitchen. Sometimes they use their floor if they want a bigger thing made.
So, are there any similarities between your workspace and industry?
Industry, that is something quite different. I live in this island community where we do not have anything of the sort. In order to see these things, I would have to go abroad and see what's going on there because we don't have it.